Grey's Anatomy just made TV history again. ABC has officially renewed the iconic medical drama for a record-breaking 22nd season, solidifying its reign as the longest-running primetime medical series in American television. Even after 2 decades, the show continues to dominate across broadcast and streaming, with over 1 billion streams in 2024 alone, proving the heart of Seattle Grace still beats strong. So, what's the secret to its longevity? Showrunner Meg Marinis calls it dropping kernels of hope, balancing emotional storylines, real-world medical issues, and moments of optimism that keep fans coming back. The remaining original stars, Ellen Pompeo, Chandra Wilson, and James Pickens Jr., continue to anchor the show as new generations of surgeons walk the halls of Gray Sloan Memorial. But as the show moves forward, fans can't help but remember the characters who defined its legacy, none more beloved than Dr. Lexie Gray, played by Chyler Leigh. Joining in Season 3 as Meredith's half-sister, Lexie quickly became a fan favorite for her intelligence, charm, and her unforgettable love story with Mark Sloan. Her tragic death in the Season 8 plane crash remains one of the most heartbreaking moments in television history. Chyler Leigh later revealed that leaving was her decision, but she returned in Season 17 for a touching cameo, reuniting with Mark in Meredith's dream sequence during the COVID storyline, giving fans a bittersweet sense of closure. As Grey's Anatomy continues into Season 22, one thing is clear: no matter who comes or goes, the show's legacy and its emotional impact will never fade. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 renewal cements its record as longest-running medical drama. ABC has officially renewed Grey's Anatomy for a historic 22nd season. This decision solidifies the show's standing as American television's longest-running primetime medical drama. The renewal was confirmed by network executives in late 2024. The series continues to draw significant viewership across broadcast and streaming platforms. According to Reuters, the show was streamed over 1 billion times in 2024 alone. This enduring popularity justifies the continued investment from Disney. Secrets behind the show's unprecedented longevity. The series has survived numerous cast changes and off-screen controversies. Original stars Ellen Pompeo, Chandra Wilson, and James Pickens Jr. remain from the first season. Their consistent presence has provided a backbone for the revolving door of surgical interns and residents. Producer Meg Marinis described the show's philosophy as dropping in kernels of hope. This approach balances dramatic medical crises with character-driven optimism. The writing team consistently integrates real-world medical headlines, ensuring storylines feel current and relevant. Cultural impact and future prospects. Grey's Anatomy has shaped television for a generation of viewers. Its soundtrack, featuring bands like The Fray and Snow Patrol, became synonymous with emotional storytelling. The show also pioneered diverse representation in its casting and character narratives. For the cast and crew, the show remains a stable and rewarding enterprise. Ellen Pompeo has explained that stepping away completely would be financially and emotionally impractical. The series provides jobs for hundreds and continues to resonate with a massive global audience. The record-breaking renewal of Grey's Anatomy proves that after 2 decades, the heart of Seattle Grace still beats strong. This medical drama continues to save lives in the ratings, with no final chapter in sight. Why Chyler Leigh's Dr. Lexie Gray left Grey's Anatomy. You might recognize actor Chyler Leigh as Alex Danvers from the CW's Supergirl and the rest of the network's Arrowverse series, but before that, she was a huge character on Grey's Anatomy. After officially joining Shonda Rhimes' long-running medical show Grey's Anatomy during its 3rd season finale, as the estranged half-sister of the titular Dr. Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, Leigh made the choice to exit after the series' 8th season. Apparently, it was her decision, and she and Rhimes figured out a way to write Lexie out of Meredith's larger story. They did so with a plane crash. I'll circle back to that momentarily. In a statement provided to TV Line in 2012, shortly after the Season 8 finale flight aired, Leigh clarified her departure. Earlier this year, I made the decision that Season 8 would be my last on Grey's Anatomy, Leigh explained. She continued, I met with Shonda and we worked together to give Lexie's story appropriate closure. I am very lucky to have worked with this amazing cast and crew for 5 seasons. My experience on Grey's Anatomy is something that I will treasure for the rest of my life. I want to take this time to say thank you to the fans. Your unconditional love and support have made these last 5 years very special for me. I look forward to my next chapter, and I hope you will continue to follow me on my journey. As for Rhimes, she admitted in a now-deleted social media post, via an archived post on The Insider, that she was devastated to lose both Kyler and Lexie, but knew it was the right time. "I love Kyler and I love the character of Lexie Gray," she remarked. "She was an important member of my Gray's family. This was not an easy decision." Still, Rhimes clarified, once again, that this was a joint decision between the showrunner and the actor. "But it was a decision that Kyler and I came to together," she went on. "We had a lot of thoughtful discussion about it, and ultimately we both decided this was the right time for her character's journey to end. As far as I'm concerned, Kyler will always remain a part of the Shondaland family, and I can't wait to work with her again in the future." Okay, so with all that said, we now have a better idea as to why Lee left Grey's Anatomy. But who was Lexie anyway? Who was Dr. Lexie Gray on Grey's Anatomy? And how did her storyline end? When Meredith first learns that her estranged father, Thatcher Gray, Jeff Perry, remarried and had a new family after his contentious divorce from her mother, famed surgeon Dr. Ellis Gray, Kate Burton, she's shocked to discover that she has two half-sisters, Kyler Lee's Dr. Lexie Gray and Mandy Siegfried's Molly Gray Thompson. Meredith meets Molly briefly in Season 2 while she's a patient at Seattle Grace Hospital, but in Season 3, Lexie comes to work at Seattle Grace as an intern, and to call Meredith unhappy about this is a massive understatement. Ultimately, at the urging of her boyfriend and future husband, Dr. Derek Shepard, Patrick Dempsey, who went on to leave the show in Season 11, Meredith learns to accept Lexie into her life, and the two finally bond as sisters. Lexie even moves into Meredith's house, and when Thatcher needs an emergency liver transplant but requires a direct donation due to his history of alcoholism, Meredith steps up and donates a portion of her own liver to Thatcher solely on Lexie's behalf, knowing how much Lexie loves their father. Lexie is also, frankly, just a really great character on Grey's Anatomy. Often called Little Grey to differentiate her from Meredith, Lexie has an eidetic or photographic memory, so her other nickname, Lexipedia, refers to the fact that she can recall basically anything she's ever read at the drop of a hat. Lexie is funny, charming, and plays so well off of the rest of the Grey's gang, and her on-again, off-again relationship with Plastics Chief and Derek's best friend, Dr. Mark Sloan, Eric Dane, is one of the show's most heartfelt love stories. Sadly, during the Season 8 finale flight, Lexie is on a plane with Meredith, Derek, Mark, and their colleagues Dr. Christina Young, Sandra Oh, and Dr. Arizona Robbins, Jessica Capshaw, flying from Seattle to Boise to assist with a surgery, and the plane crashes in the remote woods. Arizona later loses her leg due to her injuries, and Mark sustains severe wounds that eventually lead to his death when Dane leaves the series during the Season 9 premiere. But Lexie is the first true casualty, as she's trapped under the fuselage immediately after the crash. With Meredith and Mark by her side, and the latter telling her they're going to grow old together and finally be happy, Lexie dies, leaving her sister and soulmate devastated. Later, after Seattle Grace is sued for the plane crash and changes hands, it's renamed Gray Sloan Memorial to honor Mark and Lexie. Kyler Lee and Lexie Gray returned to Grey's Anatomy in a wholly unexpected way. Just like a few other departed actors and characters, including Eric Dane's Mark, Patrick Dempsey's Derek, and T.R. Knight's original surgical intern Dr. George O'Malley, Kyler Lee ended up returning to Grey's Anatomy in Season 17. How? Well, that season tackles the very real COVID-19 pandemic, and does so by giving Meredith a particularly severe case of the virus that lands her in a coma. While in said coma, Meredith hallucinates several of her deceased loved ones, all of whom encourage her to fight for her life so that she can see her 3 children again. According to Lee, though, the experience was weird precisely because of COVID-19, which set travel restrictions that made it impossible for her to participate in the scene in a traditional way, so to speak. As Lee revealed to Entertainment Tonight in 2021, she wasn't anywhere near Ellen Pompeo or Dane. Lexie and Mark appear together, suggesting that they're together in some sort of afterlife during filming. Well, it was a really interesting experience, just because I did have to film it up here in Canada because you can't travel back and forth to the States, Lee explained. So all of my stuff was done on basically green screen. And we're not sitting on the rocks. I was sitting on an apple box, and I was talking to tennis balls. So in that sense, it was interesting. Still, Lee was grateful for the medical drama's approach to the pandemic, as well as the chance to revisit the character of Lexie Gray. But understanding there are dynamics between Lexie and Meredith, and then Lexie and Mark. It was really special to be able to be part of it, and especially telling such a powerful story, she added. The tribute of this season is really towards first responders and their experience during the whole pandemic, so to be part of that was obviously very special. Plus, it was a way for Lee to play Lexie again after a particularly disturbing ending for the character. Early in season 9, a traumatized Christina tells her then-boyfriend, later husband, Dr. Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd, that she heard animals in the darkness after the crash and realized they were fighting over Lexie's body. Though she tried to keep them at bay, she couldn't. And to be able to close the chapter for Lexie, and to appear in a way where she's not eaten by wolves, Lee said wryly. Kind of bring a little life back to it. It was a special experience to be able to be part of that. It's a beautiful day to operate on these Grey's Anatomy secrets. From casting Ellen Pompeo to Patrick Dempsey's send-off, slice into these secrets about Grey's Anatomy, now surviving and thriving for 22 seasons. If we stayed up with you all night, rest assured we're probably watching Grey's Anatomy. The heart-stirring ABC medical drama is in its 22nd season. The unsettling death count among the doctors at Seattle Grace deterring neither patients nor more bright, hot medical minds from joining the staff since the show's 2005 premiere. And the doors keep revolving, with Ellen Pompeo, Chandra Wilson, and James Pickett Jr. the only remaining stars from season 1, though Meredith Gray's physical presence hasn't been a constant since 2022. I've been doing it for 20 years, so it was time to step away, Pompeo, who's also an executive producer, told Elle Pius in April. I'm very lucky to be able to get to work sometimes and take time off. But if anyone could use more paid vacation time, it's Meredith, who has suffered every professional and personal slight imaginable on the road to becoming a fairly content chief of surgery, Alzheimer's disease researcher, and widowed mother of 3 who does still believe in love. Still rolling with the punches on a weekly basis are Doctors Bailey, Weber, Owen, Altman, and their fellow trauma survivors, our surgeons who keep scrubbing in day after day. But getting to save lives does have a way of making all those crashes, car, plane, ferry, explosions, floods, sinkholes, and shootings seem like minor inconveniences. We love to throw back to things that fans will remember from prior seasons, Wilson said on Good Morning America ahead of the October 9th season premiere, and our showrunner now, Meg Marinas, said to me, "We're about dropping in kernels of hope wherever we can put it, 'cause we need that as much as possible. Little kernels of hope through all the crazy stuff that we do, but there's still something in there to say, we're doing it, we can go on, we're okay." And yet, if the right formula hadn't been in place from day one, or the morning after Meredith had a fling with the neurosurgeon who turned out to be her boss, then Grey's Anatomy would never have achieved such longevity and distinction in its field. Here are the secrets of how the show came together and has kept going for 22 seasons and counting. Meredith Grey was always Ellen Pompeo. Shonda Rhimes pictured a girl like the girl from Moonlight Mile for the part of ambitious, endearing surgical intern Dr. Meredith Grey. Finally, Rhimes recalled to Entertainment Weekly, somebody said, "I think that girl is Ellen Pompeo." And the actress who played Jake Gyllenhaal's love interest in the 2002 film already had a deal with ABC. The only issue was, Pompeo found the subject matter anxiety-inducing, unlike Rhimes, a self-professed scripted surgery addict. "I don't particularly like medical shows at all," Pompeo told Parade in 2013. "I never have. The show that was really big at the time for my generation before I started Grey's was ER. That was on forever, but I've never seen one episode." Nor, as she told The Hollywood Reporter, did she want to be stuck on a medical show for 5 years. But after meeting Rhimes, she told EW, "It was like, I want to do the show." Rob Lowe literally could have been McDreamy. Before Patrick Dempsey defied his skeptics and ascended to the role of dreamy brain surgeon Dr. Derek Shepherd, ABC wanted Rob Lowe for the part. He had a choice of either doing our show or Dr. Vegas for CBS, Grey's executive producer Peter Horton said, according to Lynette Rice's 2021 book, How to Save a Life, The Inside Story of Grey's Anatomy. He chose Dr. Vegas. Lowe quipped, "My picker was awesome. But really, the West Wing alum explained he just had a better meeting with CBS, and he went with vibe over the script. But you can't argue with science, Pompeo saying per Rice, that she read with 5 potential McDreamies, and it was quite obvious right off the bat that Patrick and I had the best chemistry. There were complications naming the show. The show was briefly called Complications because then ABC Entertainment president Steve McPherson hated the title Grey's Anatomy, producer Harry Worksman told Rice. ABC even optioned Dr. Atul Gawande's book Complications, A Surgeon's Notes on an Imperfect Science, JIC. Kate Burton, who played Meredith's Alzheimer's-stricken mother Dr. Ellis Gray, said the working title was Surgeons when her manager brought her the script, while writer Eric Buckman remembered someone pitching the title Misdiagnosis, which Rhimes just outright hated. Chandra Wilson, meanwhile, recalled coming into this untitled Shonda Rhimes project that she assumed was never going to go anywhere. Buckman said he couldn't remember who made the call to go back to Grey's Anatomy. Production was halted after 1 episode. In addition to loathing the title, McPherson also admittedly had a foul-mouthed reaction to the first episodes delivered to him to screen, which he jokes about now. But we had some serious work to do, he told Rice. To Rhimes' credit, she heard it, did the work, made the changes, and off it went. The truth about the Grey's Anatomy theme song. When you think of Grey's music, you probably think of How to Save a Life by the Frey Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars, or perhaps the Postal Service's Such Great Heights delivers you to Seattle Grace every time. But the show's actual title theme for the first 2 seasons was Cozy in the Rocket by Sap, which still plays instrumentally over the closing credits. We weren't even going to release it because we weren't that into it, Sap singer Galia Durant told The Guardian in 2007 of the song that put them on the map. But a few months later, our manager played it to the music supervisor at Grey's Anatomy, and she went, "I want that." We said, "Have it, we're not going to put it out." Bandmate Karam Klasman told Shondaland in 2024 that they had no inkling at the time of what it meant to have Grey's use their song, because in our little bubble making music, we didn't quite appreciate what was going on all around. The real-life Seattle Grace. An abandoned veterans hospital in Northridge, California, was used to shoot the pilot, and, as remembered by former showrunner Stacey McKee, per Rice, the writers' offices were literally hospital rooms. The windows were nailed shut because apparently it had been a psych ward or something. The show is still filmed primarily in Los Angeles, but the exteriors of fictional Seattle Grace Hospital, inspired by the real Harborview Medical Center, are Seattle's Como Plaza. Hair and makeup and scrubs. Every actor must wear just the right thing, but the real challenge for costume designer Mimi Melgard was to ensure that the clothes never stole the show. Everything had to be subdued, she explained to Rice. Even in surgery, you see the bottom of the scrub cap and their eyes. I didn't want anything to distract from their eyes. And scrubs are totally ill-fitting, Melgard noted, so they had to be altered to look natural but not unflattering within the reality of the show. Makeup director Norman Levitt also took an oath to do no harm, he told Rice. Producer Horton wanted everybody to look like rough and ready, he explained, to try to keep them looking real. But Rhimes, ABC et al. Wanted a little more glamour. Shonda Rhimes thought the Isaiah Washington scandal would be terminal. Rhimes worried that Grey's wouldn't survive the bad press after Isaiah Washington was fired in 2007 for using a homophobic slur during an argument with TR Knight on set in October 2006. I think the thorn was having the bubble of joy burst so early on Grey's, Rhimes told The Hollywood Reporter in March 2025, and not having anybody interested in helping us deal with it, because that really shaped a lot of how we looked at the world going forward. She added, every Grey's actor I talked to who was there during that time is still traumatized by that incident. People still talk about it. At the time, after initially trying to explain he hadn't meant the word in an anti-gay way, Washington apologized. After uttering the word again backstage at the 2007 Golden Globes, he issued another statement saying, I know a mere apology will not end this, and I intend to let my future actions prove my sincerity. But plot authenticity trumped any old bad blood. The erstwhile Dr. Preston Burke credited Sandra Oh for his reappearance on Grey's in 2014 ahead of Dr. Christina Yang's exit, writing on X in April. She refused to leave the show without my return, and she won that battle. Katherine Heigl's Dr. Izzy Stevens was almost killed off. Rhimes revealed she envisioned an off-camera demise for Izzy, who survived a brain tumor and disappeared in the middle of season 6 when Katherine Heigl was released from her contract, but thought that would be an unfair blow to Alex Karev, played by Justin Chambers. And when Chambers left the show 10 seasons later, Alex and Izzy got their happy ending as together again parents of twins. At the end of the day, there were 3 choices, showrunner Chris Tavernoff told TV Line in 2020. Kill Alex off camera, have Alex be alive and in Seattle, and still married to Jo Camilla Luddington, and we just never see him, or he's with Izzy. Ultimately, this wasn't even a debate in the writer's room, Tavernoff said. Giving Alex's life and Jo a fresh start was so clearly the right course. Katherine Heigl backlash post-mortem. Heigl, who won the Best Supporting Actress Emmy in 2007, was slapped with the difficult tag after calling Knocked Up a little sexist, and, in a separate interview, revealing that she didn't submit herself for Emmy consideration in 2008 because she didn't feel that Izzy's storyline deserved it. Heigl told Howard Stern in 2016 that she apologized to Rhimes for her Emmys comment, but the backlash she encountered from speaking her mind left her feeling completely like the biggest piece of ST on the bottom of your shoe. I was really struggling with it and how to not take it all personally and not to feel there was something deeply wrong with me. Therapy helped because, Heigl explained, I don't want to compromise who I am and what I have to say so much that I go to bed going, I've just become a robot. Now I just do what they tell me to and say what they want me to say. Hindsight is 20/20. Heigl also raised some eyebrows when, on The Late Show with David Letterman in 2009, she called it cruel and mean to require the Grey's team to routinely work a 17-hour day. Looking back, Pompeo said on an April 2022 episode of her podcast Tell Me with Ellen Pompeo that, had Heigl said that today, she'd be a complete hero. But she was ahead of her time. She made a statement about our crazy hours and, of course, let's slam a woman and call her ungrateful. When the truth is, she's 100% honest, and it's absolutely correct what she said, and she was F-King Balza for saying it. Pulling the plug on McDreamy. After Rhimes cryptically admitted on The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore in 2015 that she had killed a character in the Shondaverse because she didn't like the actor, speculation swirled that the corpse was Dempsey's Derek, who had long since chosen to love Meredith when he was devastatingly killed off at the end of season 11. Asked for his diagnosis, Dempsey told EW that Rhimes loves being provocative, and that's fine for who she is. Calling her an amazing woman who's incredibly productive, he added, I think she knows how to deal with the media and what she needs to say to get the response that she's looking for. Per How to Save a Life, tensions were high between Dempsey, Rhimes, and cast members who, according to former executive producer James D. Perriott, had all sorts of PTSD with him. But by then, Perriott said, Dempsey was just done with the show. Pompeo would get angry that he wasn't working as much, former executive producer Janine Renshaw said, per Rice's book. She was very big on having things be fair. Any alleged wounds were salved enough to welcome Dempsey back to be in comatose Meredith's dream in season 17, scrubbing in again and again. Though Pompeo stepped back from her every-episode presence in 2022, she, along with series regulars Wilson and James Pickens Jr., doctors Miranda Bailey and Richard Webber, are the only season 22 and counting Grey's stars who've been there since day one. Pompeo told Elle Pace in April 2025 that it would make no sense, emotionally or financially, for her to leave the show. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024, she explained. The companies that own the show and stream the show make a lot of money from our images and our voices and our faces. If I were to walk away completely, everybody gets to make money from my hard work for 20 years and I wouldn't make any money, and emotionally, the show means a lot to people. I want to have an attitude of gratitude toward the show. How Ellen Pompeo earned her massive paycheck. In 2017, Pompeo signed a deal worth more than $20 million a year, $575,000 per episode plus a 7-figure signing bonus and 2 back-end equity points worth upward of $6 million, per The Hollywood Reporter. She also became a series producer with an office on the Disney lot in Burbank for her Calamity Jane production company. Harkening back to when she asked for $5,000 more per episode than Dempsey was being paid, just on principle, and was turned down, Pompeo explained in 2018 that his exit from the show was a defining moment, deal-wise. No longer having him on the show meant his popular character's presence couldn't be leveraged against hers. And with Rhimes' various megadeals as inspiration, Pompeo aimed higher, and went after what she felt she deserved. When your face and your voice have been part of something that's generated $3 billion for one of the biggest corporations in the world, she told THR in 2018, you start to feel like, okay, maybe I do deserve a piece of this. Chandra Wilson thought she'd be one and done. Wilson thought her IRL pregnancy during season 1 would precipitate her exit from the show. My first instinct was to get in touch with Shonda and say, thank you so much for allowing me to play Dr. Bailey for the first season, and I understand that I'll have to step away now, she said on Good Morning America in October 2025 ahead of the season 22 premiere. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't be ridiculous. And that was news to my ears. Ripped from the headlines. We always take the stance of what are doctors going through these days? Showrunner Meg Marinas told the Los Angeles Times in March 2025 of bringing all-too-real issues into the storyline. When we did the COVID season, we told that story completely from a doctor's point of view. We didn't talk about politics, we didn't talk about who was right, who wasn't right. We just showed the effect that the pandemic had on our doctors and the isolation and loneliness that they had to go through. We'll do the same thing if we see headlines we want to explore. So, do any of Grey's doctors feel as if they know how to save a life IRL? Or at least use a tourniquet? Pompeo admitted she had become definitely more interested in medicine, but wouldn't say you can learn things. Being a doctor is the hardest thing you can do, she told Parade. 12 years of school, the pharmaceutical knowledge, the body parts, the Latin terminology, the memory retention you have to have. Doctors are serious rock stars, so I wouldn't pretend to know even a tenth of what they know. 10 Grey's Anatomy characters whose deaths left fans devastated. Grey's Anatomy is one of the longest-running dramas in U.S. television history. The popular TV show, which first premiered in 2005, is now in its 22nd season. In the past 20 years, Grey's Anatomy has garnered much love and admiration for its memorable characters, powerhouse performers, especially in the first few seasons, and, of course, some truly iconic songs. But above all, it's perhaps best known for killing off some of its most beloved characters in truly shocking ways. But first, brace yourselves for spoilers in case you haven't watched the latest season, because the show has once again killed off a major character right at the beginning of the 22nd season. Yes, Dr. Monica Beltran, played by Natalie Morales, was confirmed dead in the season 22 premiere, much to fans' dismay, after she sustained severe injuries in the season 21 finale. In fact, over the years, Grey's Anatomy has gained a reputation for killing off major characters. Now, whether these deaths were simply for shock value to keep the ratings up, or whether they genuinely served to drive the plot forward, well, we'll let you be the judge of that. And while many characters have been killed off, such as Dr. George O'Malley, played by T.R. Knight, and Derek Shepherd, played by Patrick Dempsey, several main characters have also exited the show as the actors moved on to pursue other projects. For instance, Sandra Oh, who played Dr. Christina Young, left after 10 seasons, and Katherine Heigl, who portrayed Dr. Izzy Stevens, departed in season 6. Ellen Pompeo, who plays the protagonist Dr. Meredith Grey, is one of the few original cast members still remaining on the show. Major characters from Grey's Anatomy, who still haunt us after their shocking deaths, played by T.R. Knight. First appearance, Season 1, Episode 1, A Hard Day's Night. Last appearance, Season 17, Episode 4, You'll Never Walk Alone. Died in Season 6, Episode 1, Good Morning. Cause of death, hit by a bus. This is perhaps the most shocking death in Grey's Anatomy that continues to haunt fans to this day. His death was totally unexpected, and to make matters worse, the season ended on a cliffhanger with people having to wait until the next one to find out if he had survived. Spoiler, he didn't. After being hit by a bus, George is rushed to the ER, where his colleagues fail to recognize him due to his severely disfigured face. When they eventually realize his identity, it's too late. George flatlines and is declared brain dead as a result of the serious injuries he sustained. Played by Patrick Dempsey. First appearance, Season 1, Episode 1, A Hard Day's Night. Last appearance, Season 17, Episode 13, Good as Hell. Died in Season 11, Episode 21, How to Save a Life. Cause of death, brain injury due to a car accident. Dr. Derek Shepherd, nicknamed McDreamy, was another character whose death hit fans hard. His love story with Meredith is one for the ages. which makes his passing all the more tragic. While driving to Washington, Derek is involved in an accident. However, it is not the accident itself that proves fatal. Derek sustained a brain injury in the crash, but his death could have been prevented if it had been diagnosed and treated in time. The hospital he is taken to fails to perform a timely CT scan, a delay that ultimately leads to his death. His soulmate, Meredith, reels from his loss for many years, even confronting one of the doctors who failed to provide him with proper treatment and care. What makes his death even more heartbreaking is that the decision to take him off life support ultimately lies with Meredith. Played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. First appearance, Season 2, Episode 13, Begin the Begin. Last appearance, Season 5, Episode 23, Here's to Future Days. Died in Season 2, Episode 27, Losing My Religion. Cause of death, complications after a heart transplant. The death of any Jeffrey Dean Morgan character is difficult to process, but this one was particularly devastating due to the emotional love story between him and Dr. Izzy. Denny needs a heart transplant, and Izzy, willing to do anything for the man she loves, makes a heartbreaking and ethically questionable decision. She deliberately allows his condition to worsen so he can move higher on the transplant list. In a desperate act, she even attempts to cut his LVD wire, abandoning all medical ethics in the hope of saving him. Eventually, Denny does receive a heart, and the couple is given a sliver of hope until it's cruelly snatched away when complications arise. Denny develops a blood clot and dies. Played by Kyler Lee. First appearance, Season 3, Episode 24, Testing 1-2-3. Last appearance, Season 17, Episode 10, Breathe. Died in Season 8, Episode 24, Flight. Cause of death, plane crash. After her tumultuous relationship with her half-sister Meredith finally blossoms into a loving bond, Lexie is killed off. She is on a plane with Meredith, Derek, Mark, and others when it crashes. Crushed by parts of the wreckage, she dies at the scene. While the others are also gravely injured, they all survive, including Mark, who loves her. He stays with her as she takes her final breath. Her death is all the more poignant due to her heartfelt monologue about her love for Mark just a few episodes before the crash. Played by Eric Dane. First appearance, Season 2, Episode 18, Yesterday. Last appearance, Season 17, Episode 10, Breathe. Died in Season 9, Episode 1, Going Gone. Cause of death, injuries from a plane crash. Even though Mark appears to have survived the crash initially, he dies in the hospital after succumbing to his injuries. Perhaps he couldn't live without Lexie, who died right in front of him. Mark's death hit Derek hard, as he was his best friend. In fact, Mark and Lexie's deaths are even more tragic because their love story was left unfinished due to their untimely passing. Or perhaps they were soulmates, destined to die together. At the very least, that thought is a comforting one. Played by Natalie Morales. First appearance, Season 20, Episode 3, Walk on the Ocean. Last appearance, Season 22, Episode 1, Only the Strong Survive. Died in Season 22, Episode 1, Only the Strong Survive. Cause of death, injuries from an explosion. The most recent shocking death on Grey's Anatomy occurred in the Season 22 premiere, where Monica was killed off. In the cliffhanger finale of Season 21, which featured a gas explosion involving Monica and Link, viewers were left eager to learn the fate of these characters. While Link survived, Grey's Anatomy pulled a George O'Malley-style twist and killed off Monica in the first episode of the new season. Played by Loretta Devine. First appearance, Season 2, Episode 2, Enough is Enough. Last appearance, Season 9, Episode 10, Things We Said Today. Died in Season 9, Episode 10, Things We Said Today. Cause of death, heart attack. Grey's Anatomy certainly knows how to give viewers false hope. Adele, the wife of Richard Webber, who was known to be suffering from Alzheimer's disease, underwent surgery for a brain aneurysm. Although the operation was successful, she later died of a heart attack. Played by Nora Zehetner, Robert Baker. First appearance, Season 6, Episode 5, Invasion. Last appearance, Season 6, Episode 23, Sanctuary, Season 12, Episode 11, Unbreak My Heart. died in Season 6, Episode 23, Sanctuary, Season 6, Episode 24, Death and All His Friends. Cause of death, hospital shooting. Even though Reed and Charles were not regular characters in the series, their deaths were no less shocking or impactful. A shooter enters the hospital seeking revenge for his wife's death, leaving everyone on edge. While specifically looking for Derek, he kills both Reed and Charles in this two-part series finale. In fact, the Season 6 finale is considered among the best of the entire show, thanks to the performances delivered by the cast. Played by Scott Foley. First appearance, Season 7, Episode 10, Adrift and at Peace. Last appearance, Season 8, Episode 10, Suddenly. Died in Season 8, Episode 10, Suddenly. Cause of death, tumor. Another ethically questionable storyline in the show involves Henry Burton, a patient who needs a heart transplant but has no health insurance. This leads Dr. Teddy Altman to marry him so that he can be covered under her health insurance. In fictional books and television shows, insurance fraud is a popular trope where characters end up falling in love due to a marriage of convenience. The same happens with Henry and Teddy. They fall in love, which adds to the tragedy of Henry's death following a failed surgery. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere review. Season 22 of Grey's Anatomy premiered on ABC this past Thursday. The episode picked up right where we left off, with Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital blowing up once again. After the staff was told the gas tank that was being used to hold some of the doctors hostage was empty, it turns out it really wasn't. Due to this, in the finale of Season 21, as Meredith walked away, we saw a big explosion come from the floor yet again. This episode picks up from there with so much drama to unfold. In this episode, we see Link getting injured and almost dying, and Dr. Monica Beltran actually dying. Surgeries are being performed in staircases and in the clinic. On top of that, keeping a critically ill patient alive to get Seattle Perez, there was so much drama to unfold during the hour-long season premiere. Which is why I needed a week to write this and get my thoughts all in one place. While people are mad that Owen Hunt is still such a big character in the show, and as much as people don't like him, I feel the show may not be the same without him, as he has become an essential character since his debut in Season 5 of the show. Since he has become such an essential character to the plot of the show, I don't see him going anywhere until the show eventually ends. Overall, my thoughts on the episode are very strong. I happen to have really liked this episode and give it an 8 out of 10. I just wish there was more to the story and that they wouldn't use a storyline they have used before in previous seasons. I think we have seen the hospital blow up, maybe one too many times. But it was a great way to start the new season. I am a little worried for Amelia, though, because it seems like she will spiral out of control yet again. Anyways, the next episode airs tomorrow night, October 16th, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ABC. Also, please let me know your thoughts on the episode by reaching out to me on Instagram at @IdanWexlerMedia, as well as fill out my Instagram story poll posted right after this article went public to tell me what I should review next. Fact check. Is Patrick Dempsey really returning to Grey's Anatomy Season 22? Is Patrick Dempsey really returning to Grey's Anatomy Season 22? We investigate the truth behind viral Derek Shepherd claims. Social media posts claiming Patrick Dempsey will return to Grey's Anatomy Season 22 for 7 episodes are false. No official announcement from ABC, Disney+, or the show's production team confirms the actor's involvement in the current season. The rumor circulated on Facebook, with posts suggesting Derek Shepherd would return, possibly connected to an Alzheimer's storyline. Dempsey's character, Derek Shepherd, died after he met with a fatal car accident in Season 11, Episode 21. Ever since, the character has only appeared in ethereal form, guiding Meredith Grey through the tragedy. Meanwhile, Grey's Anatomy recently returned with Season 22, which premiered on ABC on October 9, 2025. Patrick Dempsey's current Fox project contradicts Season 22 rumors. Patrick Dempsey's filming schedule directly contradicts claims of a Grey's Anatomy return. Fox officially ordered the drama series Memory of a Killer via Collider, with Dempsey cast as lead character Angelo Letta, a hitman with early-onset Alzheimer's disease. Production began in August 2025 and is scheduled to wrap in December 2025, as per the Dempsey Hub. This is Dempsey's first broadcast television lead role since leaving Grey's Anatomy in 2015 after 11 seasons. The false social media posts specifically claim, yes, it's true. Derek Shepherd is returning to Grey's Anatomy for season 22, with Patrick Dempsey set to appear in at least 7 episodes. While details are still under wraps, there's speculation that his return may tie into Meredith's journey, possibly even something connected to early-onset Alzheimer's. The returning cast includes Ellen Pompeo, Chandra Wilson, James Pickens Jr., Kevin McKidd, Katerina Scorsone, Camilla Luddington, Kim Raver, Chris Carmack, Anthony Hill, Jason George, Alexis Floyd, Harry Shum Jr., Adelaide Kane, Nico Tero, and Trevor Jackson. Patrick Dempsey is not included in official network communications or casting announcements. Derek Shepherd died in Season 11, Episode 21, which aired April 23, 2015. The character was hit by a semi-truck after stopping to help car crash victims and was declared brain dead after a hospital failed to order a timely CT scan. Dempsey returned briefly in Season 17 in 2020 and 2021, appearing in Episodes 2, 3, and 8 during Meredith's COVID-19 dream sequences on a beach. In April 2021, Dempsey called the return a beautiful way to close it, while saying, "Never say never" to the show. What Grey's Anatomy Season 22 is really about. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiered on October 9, 2025, with 2.573 million viewers and a 0.29 rating. The season continues from a hospital explosion cliffhanger that ended Season 21. Monica Beltran, played by Natalie Morales, was killed in the premiere, marking the first major character death of the season. Showrunner Meg Marinas told The Hollywood Reporter that the team made that choice to explore themes of grief and loss throughout the season. One of the real-world themes that has come into this season is the theme of hope. No matter where you stand on anything, things have been happening one after the other, and in particular, that's what we felt this summer. We thought, how can we write our feelings out in this season of television? And that is through the theme of hope. Who gives you hope? Who helps you find it after you've lost it? What gives you hope? And how can you be hope for somebody else? How do we rise from what happened? The main storylines focus on hospital renovation efforts following the explosion damage. Chris Carmack's character Link survived, but he suffered serious injuries that require a long recovery. Episode 2, which aired October 16, 2025, featured Kelly McCreary's return as Maggie Pierce with a surprise pregnancy reveal. The series reached its milestone 450th episode on the same date. Katerina Scorsone, who plays Amelia Shepherd, is taking an extended break this season. She will appear in only 10 of 18 episodes due to scheduling considerations, by a deadline. Trevor Jackson was promoted to series regular as surgical resident Wes, while Jade Pettijohn and Anita Calathara joined the cast in recurring roles. Ellen Pompeo continues the reduced role set in Season 21. She appears in about 7 episodes while maintaining narration across the season. The show balances veteran characters with newer residents as Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital manages reconstruction and emotional recovery after the explosion. The false Patrick Dempsey rumors highlight how quickly unverified claims spread on social platforms, especially when tied to a beloved character. Viewers should verify casting news through official network channels, the show's accounts, or established outlets. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.